Hey, let's talk about the $5,000 refund stimulus check that's been making the rounds again. If you've been following this, you know it's called a DOGE dividend, and now it's getting even more attention because both Elon Musk and President Trump have publicly floated the idea. A tax refund straight into your pocket, funded by savings from the government itself. Sounds great, right? But let's be real. What's actually happening here? Is this any closer to reality, or is it still just another idea that sounds good on the news? Before we get into it, if you find these financial updates helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel, and you won't miss out on important news like this. So, here's where things stand right now. The DOGE dividend is a proposal that would send a one-time $5,000 check to tax-paying American households. Unlike past stimulus checks, this wouldn't be new government spending or money being printed. It would come from savings created by the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. And yes, DOGE is a real thing. Despite the name sounding like a meme, it was created under Trump's administration as an advisory group focused on cutting government waste and inefficiencies. The idea behind the DOGE dividend is simple: identify wasteful spending, cut unnecessary costs, and then return 20% of those savings back to taxpayers. The plan assumes that if DOGE can reach $2 trillion in savings, then around $400 billion would be available to distribute as refund checks. But here's the big question. How close are we to those savings, and what are the chances this actually happens? First, let's talk about who would qualify. Unlike the stimulus checks from a few years ago, which were sent to most Americans, the DOGE dividend would only go to households that pay federal income taxes. That means if you file a federal tax return and pay more in taxes than you receive in government benefits, you'd be eligible. But if you don't, like if you rely entirely on Social Security, other government benefits, or have no taxable income, you wouldn't receive a check. And that's already a major difference from past stimulus checks. It's also why some lawmakers are skeptical about the plan. The majority of Americans earning under $40,000 a year effectively pay no federal income tax, meaning a large portion of lower-income households wouldn't see a dime from this. Some experts argue this makes it less inflationary than past stimulus checks, since it's giving money back to people who have already contributed rather than injecting new cash into the economy. But on the flip side, critics argue that it's unfair to exclude lower-income Americans who could benefit the most from extra money. Now let's get into the big issue. Where is this money actually coming from? Right now, DOGE claims to have saved around $65 billion by eliminating fraud, renegotiating contracts, and downsizing certain government programs. But that's nowhere near the $2 trillion savings goal needed to make these checks a reality. Even Musk himself recently admitted that $2 trillion is the best-case outcome, and that realistically, it might hit half that, around $1 trillion. And here's where things get complicated. Even if DOGE does hit its savings goal, there's no guarantee that the money would go toward refund checks. Congress would have to approve the payouts, and right now, even Republican lawmakers are hesitant. House Speaker Mike Johnson recently said that while the idea sounds great politically, his priority is reducing the national debt, which is sitting at $36 trillion. Other lawmakers, like Senator Ron Johnson and Senator Cynthia Lummis, have echoed that sentiment, arguing that if savings are found, they should go toward paying down the deficit first. Even if Trump pushes for the checks, Congress ultimately holds the power to decide how those savings are used, and as we've seen before, getting any major financial policy passed isn't exactly easy. So, what about inflation? Would a $5,000 check make things worse? That depends on what people do with the money. If most of it is saved or used to pay off debt, the impact on inflation would be small. But if a significant portion gets spent quickly, it could drive up demand and push prices higher. That's why some economic experts are skeptical, saying that now is the wrong time for any kind of consumer stimulus, even if it's coming from savings rather than new spending. But the biggest hurdle right now isn't inflation. It's whether DOGE can actually generate enough savings to fund these checks at all. So far, the department has made some progress, but according to multiple reports, a lot of their claimed savings haven't been independently verified. Some experts even say that the numbers may be exaggerated. So where does this leave us? Right now, the Doge dividend is still just a proposal. There's no bill, no official government backing, and no clear timeline for when or if these checks would ever go out. The savings goal is incredibly ambitious, and without solid proof of where those savings are coming from, it's hard to say how realistic this plan really is. That being said, public support for the idea is growing. A new poll found that most Americans support the Doge dividend, with strong backing from both Republicans and Democrats. And as we've seen before, if an idea gets enough public momentum, lawmakers will start paying attention. So, should you expect a check anytime soon? Probably not. But if this idea keeps gaining traction, it's possible that some version of it could make its way into future policy discussions. What do you think? Does this seem like something that could actually happen? Or is it just another political idea that sounds good, but won't go anywhere? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.